Bow chicka bow wow on to week 11 of the NFL season. MnM going deep, coming at you hot. I am your host, Kyle McCumber. That is my co-host, Cole Mueller, looking fly in a Savannah, Georgia sweatshirt. How are you?
I'm eating Gouda cheese because it's a Gouda Thursday.
It's a Gouda Thursday. Eminem going deep, presented by two young men that are very handsome, dapper, and will uh do good deeds. Okay. Week 11 or week 10. Good week, fun week. Some actually like literal stinkers of games. But the first one was fun. Thursday night football. Ravens, Bengals, Ravens 35, Bengals 34. This one came down to the wire. Bengals went for a 2-point conversion in order to win this one. Don't end up converting. Like five face masks could have been called on the final play. Don't get called. Ball doesn't fall in favor of the Bengals. Ravens squeak out a close one with a division rival.
Jamar Chase, I mean, is just having quietly just an incredible year.
So is
And
Joe Burrow.
exactly. And they're the best 4-6 football team in the history of the NFL. It's
Yeah.
actually kind of crazy to see like they're so good. And I think Joe Burrow, if they had four more wins or three more wins, which again, they're one play away on four of those games, you're talking about him as the MVP frontrunner. And right now, they're I still think they're primed with a kind of a terrible back end of the AFC to make a run here in the last part of the season. I haven't really looked at their schedule, but I really would put the Bengals up there against anyone outside of the Chiefs and the Ravens offensively. Defensively, I still think they've got a ways to go, but they've got good players on that side of the ball. So, Ravens again, they're just they're a complete football team offensively. Defensively, I still think they're a little bit of a fraud, but I mean that's why you have such a good running game and you can keep your defense off the field.
Yeah. Uh Ravens defense is a little bit scary at times. It's they don't really get a good pass rush. They do have like a barrage of different guys that can get rush the passer, but they don't have that one guy that gets it done. Secondary has been a little bit banged up with Marlon Humphrey in and out, but Marlon Humphrey had a great game, not a great game in this one, but a key play of forcing that fumble that Chase Brown had that kind of flipped the entire script of this game and led to a Ravens victory. Onto the Bengals schedule that you talked about. I do agree with you that it's not very favorable. They do have two games against the Steelers in the back half of the season. Broncos are on that schedule, but it's not that terrible. Like they have the Chargers this week on Sunday Night Football, Steelers after that, but in between there a bye week. Cowboys, Titans, Browns. They could rattle off three wins right there and be right in the thick of the playoff hunt. And we've talked about it week after week. The AFC is down this year, which does provide some light for them, but teams like the Chargers and the Broncos starting out hot early kind of gave them that lead above the Bengals, and the Bengals started slow. Lost that game against the Patriots, and I bet that might be the game that it comes down to, damn, I wish we had that one back.
Yeah, I agree. I think uh yeah, couldn't agree more.
All right, we'll head to Germany where the Panthers topped the Giants 20 to 17. Daniel Jones needs to get the fuck out of New York, and I'll say something nice about Bryce Young. He won another game.
Okay, Daniel Jones looked good for two drives in that game though in the second half. I thought
Two drives?
let's talk about
Dude,
again.
he's terrible.
He's not phenomenal. He's probably the second to third worst starter right now in the league. But guess what? You paid him 40 million a year. Who's their backup right now?
Drew Lock.
Okay, he should have been starting for a while. I'm sorry.
Um, the two plays that really stand out are the one where Malik Neighbors runs I think like an 8 yard out on the right sideline, and he's wide open, and Daniel Jones throws it over his head by like 20 yards, and then Brian Dable dials up a flea flicker that is perfectly called.
Oh
It's
yes,
very
doesn't throw the
well
ball.
set up, and Wandale Robinson and Malik Neighbors are both running wide open, and
Yeah,
he doesn't throw the football, and he takes a sack.
that was absolutely terrible. I remember
The
that.
the two turnovers he had in the red zone were abysmal. And yeah, like you could make the argument like Tyrone Tracy should catch that ball, but he put it in a terrible spot for a easy dump off to the running back. And you can't blame Tyrone Tracy that much. You can blame Tyrone Tracy for the fumble in overtime,
Yeah,
100%, but Panthers squeak out another victory. Now at 3-7. Chuba Hubbard looking real good with 28 carries, 153 yards, and a touchdown, taking a lot of heat off of Bryce Young. Panthers becoming a little bit feisty.
I'm happy for Bryce Young. I'm
Yeah.
happy for the Panthers should have won that game. You look
T-
at it, and you as a Giants fan base, you pretty much want your team to lose out, and as a Panthers fan base, you kind of are already at the point where you need to start winning games, and you don't want to have the first pick every year. So they got a new coach, they got a new quarterback. They need to start winning, and so I'm glad that they're on the ascendant path a little bit. And then the Giants, I mean, you're happy if you're losing a little bit.
yeah, hopefully you can replace Daniel Jones. All right, next game. Patriots 19, Bears 3. Bears look abysmal. They fired Shane Waldron, the offensive coordinator this week, a former Packers play caller.
No,
But oh, I thought he was on the Packers staff.
no, I mean that's Luke Getzey.
Okay, I might be confusing them. Um, anyways, Drake May looked, besides his interception, Drake May looked solid in this game, and Caleb Williams looked bad.
Yeah. To your point, the offensive coordinator before Shane Waldron was Luke Getzey, who was the coordinator for the Bears last year,
Oh, there it is.
and he was fired last week by the by the Raiders.
The
So
Raiders.
he's
That's
been
where the correlation comes.
fired twice in less than a season. But yes, I think the Bears, they just need to play a team like the Packers to turn it back around this week. And I look at like the Patriots. I mean, that was their defense was incredible that entire game. I I went to one of the big sports bars in Atlanta and just got like all the TVs in front of me. And the two I requested was obviously the Bears game and the Vikings game at the 1 p.m. slate. And I cannot believe how dominant that defensive line was by the Patriots. Like they looked like the 85 Bears, just destroying the Bears up front. But yeah, I still think there wasn't a lot open for the Bears, and that can be a lot on the offensive game plan. I don't think the receivers are washed up or anything by any means. I just think they need some spark, and by firing their offensive coordinator, hopefully that does give them a spark, and they can beat the
Firing,
Pack.
firing the offensive coordinator may provide a spark, but it does not help the fact that the Bears have revolving doors blocking in front of Caleb Williams right now. They have a banged up. They started the season with a not good offensive line, and now a bunch of their starting offensive line is hurt and causing a couple of issues.
Yeah.
Patriots, like I said, Drake May looked pretty solid in this one. They got to be licking their chops about what they could do in the draft and what they can build upon with this one.
Mm-hmm.
Next game, we got Bills 30, Colts 20. I didn't see a lot of this game. I just saw that the Bills kind of got a lead, never lost it, and continued to just win.
Yeah. The first play, first drive, Taron Johnson gets a pick six.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
And then they, like you just said, they kept the lead and they never lost it. I this was, I'd say, out of all the games at the 1 p.m. slate, this was one of the games I watched the least. So I'm
I
the
also
same.
feel like it wasn't featured a lot. Like it didn't come up on like any highlights or anything. Like
Yeah,
I remember the interception coming up early, but that was like about it.
yeah. It was. You didn't get any like game time updates from other games, like showing that. So yeah, completely. I heard Joe Flacco didn't play bad. He just maybe had a few plays. He made some mistakes, but like now the takeaway is Anthony Richardson's a starter again.
Yep. Chaos in
Yeah.
Indy. All right, we'll move on from that one. It was kind of boring one. All right, this is a pretty exciting one. Chiefs 16, Broncos 14. Broncos really should have won this game, and I'm not gonna lie, it shouldn't have came down to a last second field goal, in my opinion. The Broncos were moving the ball pretty well against the Chiefs offense. The Broncos defense was keeping Patrick Mahomes at bay. It sucks that it came down to a last second field goal, and the Chiefs, who have one of the best coaching staffs in the league, identified a weakness on the Broncos field goal front line, attacked it, and were successful at attacking it and blocked the game-winning field goal.
Yeah. And what I tell you, I said the Broncos would win that game.
Yeah, we both said that.
Yeah. And
Um,
they were the better team.
they
They're the better.
definitely were the better team. And Patrick Mahomes does not look great this year. Like I just think that the like Chiefs fans are really like just coasting through this season, like, oh, we're so good, but like I just feel like they're sleepwalking.
Yeah, but that's how they fucking get to the Super Bowl, Kyle. They're gonna go in at 14-3 as the one seed, and they're gonna barely win the divisional round. They're gonna barely win the AFC championship, and they're gonna barely win the Super Bowl. But they're gonna fucking win. That's the problem.
I just want someone to blow them out by 40.
They'll lose in like week 13, and then they'll win the next 4 games of the season.
Yep, Chiefs stay undefeated. Fuck them. I hate all of you. Next game, Saints 20, Falcons 17. Rizzy, the Riz God of the New Orleans Saints, gets the boys up, gets them playing again, and stuns the Falcons in New Orleans. Good victory, good feel good story for the Saints, for a lost season. Falcons, that's kind of a scary loss to me.
I mean, Young Ho Koo needs to make his field goals. That's how they lost.
That's true too.
He missed 3 field goals. 2 of them were extremely makeable. And
In a dome.
yeah, I mean, that was a tough. I mean, like Darnell Mooney, their offense was moving the ball when it needed to. Kirk
Yeah,
Cousins, few
Bijan had
untimely,
116 yards.
yeah, and Kirk Cousins had untimely like mistakes, and they had some bad time penalties. But it came down to they got in field goal range, they didn't convert in third down, and they missed field goals. And honestly, trying to remember, like Marquez Valdez Scantling was just electric for them. Like what, like came in there and all of a sudden was Randy
Like
Moss,
it's like his first week on the team.
which I love that. People like to shit on him because he drops the ball sometimes, but MVS has a role in the NFL, and
Right. I
that's
forgot
his
he's
role.
a former Packer.
Yeah,
Um, Good for the Saints. Falcons, scary loss. Just something to keep an eye on with the Falcons moving forward. Next game, 49ers 23, Buccaneers 20. Another kicker who's struggling, Jake Moody misses 3 field goals. Debo Samuel gets into a fight with the long snapper on the sideline. More chaos in San Francisco. Baker Mayfield did everything he could in this game to try and win it. Just came up a little short.
yeah. That the biggest takeaway that I feel like I haven't seen enough on is that Debo Samuel scuffle with the long snapper.
Yeah, winning, uh, fucking what? Winning cures all, like, period.
I like did not did Debo Samuel speak to the media? I haven't
I
seen.
don't remember seeing anything about it.
I'm I know it's shown. It wasn't even shown that much on TV as much as I thought it would be shown. But that's a huge. When I saw that, I only wanted to just hear about what happened out of that instead of watch the rest of that game play out. definitely wanted the Buccaneers to be able to. I mean, Bucky Irving and Sterling Shepard. That Baker Mayfield's incredible. I think Baker Mayfield's just playing lights out compared to years past. This is like his best season, even though
This is his best season.
it's just like he doesn't have the pieces around him, but he's just making so much happen. And yeah, it's tough. I kind of like to root for the Bucks right now, especially against a team like the Niners. But the Niners are again, they're scrappy and they're going to start picking up momentum here, middle of November, and by the time January hits, they're going to be the best team in the NFC.
Yeah,
And,
isn't it something like Kyle Shanahan's the best, has like the best winning percentage in December of all time?
um, believe it or not, I think Matt LaFleur was like that type of coach. I think he's only lost like one game in his 2 games in his coaching career in December, but maybe Kyle Shanahan's like similar.
Yeah, I know that he's like the king of like December. Um, yeah, Buccaneers are another feel good story. Hopefully I think Mike Evans might be on pace to come back this week, if not next week. That'd be a big gain for them in order to make a run at the Falcons. They are 3 games back from the Falcons in the NFC South. All right, next game, Steelers Commanders. Steelers 28, Commanders 27. The Commanders finally play a tough opponent after going through a slew of pretty bad ones. They fall just short, and you could say that about a couple things, because there was that one call at the end of the game where Noah Brown was like marked a yard short and completely flipped the tide of this one. Ended up helping the Steelers out winning, and also I forget what defender it was, but jumped off sides, gave the Steelers a free 5 yards and a automatic first down. Um, Steelers are a scrappy fucking football team, and the Commanders, they're good.
Yeah, I think both teams played pretty well in this game. I think the Commanders, even though they kind of woke up to a better opponent than they've played, this was a even matchup, and they still rose to the occasion in the second half. And it was kind of a back and forth matchup,
It
which made it
was.
fun to watch. And it came down to that last play, that last drive. And I still think, in years past, it's like the Steelers are the team you're rooting for to not make the playoffs because they're such a boring team to watch. And this is like the first year in a while, since like prime Roethlisberger, that I'm like, I could definitely watch the Steelers in the playoffs. I think they have a lot of offensive pieces now that make them more intriguing. And then defensively, I think their defensive line, their secondary still got some good pieces. Like they're going to be a team that in a down year for the AFC, they could win a playoff game.
To your point of the Steelers offense being kind of interesting to watch, it's George Pickens. George Pickens is just fun to watch because you don't know what he's going to do on any given play, whether he's going to assault somebody or throw a stiff arm against the entire defense and try and gain yards by him, like just put the team on his back and will the team forward, basically. You saw that one play, right, where he like
Yeah.
jumped and tried to stiff arm
He
like the
stiff
whole
armed like
team.
four, yeah, four people. Four people are just like he gets 2 yards, but he just stiff armed four people doing it.
Did you see the other one where Russell Wilson threw the interception and like two
Oh
defenders were
yeah,
on him, and instead of tackling the guy with the ball, he just started fighting the other guy.
it's like he knew he was gonna get blocked,
Yeah.
so he knew he wasn't gonna get to the guy. So instead of getting blocked, he's like, "I'm just gonna kill him."
He's like, I'm gonna just take this guy out of the play. George Pickens, he is an interesting character. Steelers, they make me frustrated because I hate them so much. But I have a ton of Steelers on my fantasy team this year, so it's fine. Commanders, I think you'll have better days. Commanders are on Thursday night football right now. We'll update you as we get there, but I think they'll have better days. I think they just, I think losing these close games to good teams like that builds character for teams. Like they're on the cusp of being a great football team. Like they lost. admirably to the Ravens, and now they lost admirably to the Steelers on like a final drive. They're on the cusp of something great, is what I'll
Yeah,
say.
yeah.
Vikings 12, Jaguars 7, ugly fucking game. Sam Darnold, three interceptions. Mac Jones nearly pulled off a crazy upset against the Vikings, and all hell would have broken loose if Mac Jones won this game.
Mac Jones was playing in my like what I was watching that game. He had so much energy. I had never seen him play with that type of energy. Even in college, I've never seen Mac Jones play like that. Like he looked alive. And in the first half, he was playing well. And then stupid fucking decisions with the football. The last drive was retarded, throwing the ball up for just
A
no reason.
50-50.
It was a Jordan Love throw. I
Yeah.
mean, what are we? I don't know. I obviously I wanted the Jags to win that game. I think the Jags are a sneaky good team. Like
I
they're not
wouldn't
going to make
say
the
good
playoffs.
team.
They're not going to make the playoffs, but everyone thought coming in this year the Jags would be a playoff team, and they don't have Trevor Lawrence now. Mac Jones is there's far worse backup quarterbacks in the NFL than Mac Jones,
You could say
and
that twice.
and I don't think you look at the Jags and you just immediately think easy win. And I mean, you will. The Jags are playing the Lions this week, I think, and the Lions are 13-point favorites. And I immediately was like, oh, I'm going to pick the Jags plus 13, but I don't
With
know.
how the Lions offense has been operating, I'm not sure if the Jags plus 13 is enough points.
I don't know. That's where I'm just staying away from that one now.
Yeah. Next one, Chargers 27, Titans 17. This is the stinker. This is like we're in the stinker zone right now of how this week became a stinky week to watch. Chargers kind of just absolutely manhandled the Titans. They just looked overmatched. Jim Harbaugh just making the Chargers into man football, which is a good staple, and I think him and Justin Herbert are really gelling now and could be a dangerous duo for a sleepwalking Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid. Um, Titans, Calvin Ridley and Will Levis looked good. That's what I got for you.
Yeah, I didn't watch a second of this game. I watched all of the 1 p.m. slate and didn't really get to watch much of this, but I really didn't want to when I looked at the scores and midway through the second quarter and realized all the games were terrible. So
Yeah, the 4 o'clock slate really, really was a dud. Next one, Eagles 34, Cowboys 6. Cooper Rush or Trey Lance couldn't do anything. The Cowboys would just fumble the ball on every play. The Eagles really didn't have to do much in order to win this game. Cowboys kind of just gave it to them. Cowboys are almost like a laughing stock right now. Dak is done for the year. Eagles get another win, move to 7-2. Impressive. Yeah, I got nothing else.
uh, it's honestly a little sad just
No,
because
it's not.
I like the Cowboys as an enemy and they're kind of like the I don't know.
I don't care about teams that like if a team that has had success and gone to the playoffs and had all, I think welcome to my pit of misery, you fucks.
There you go.
Next game, Cardinals 31, Jets 6. Your
What the
Jets.
fuck happened here? What the hell happened there? I didn't see a second of that game. Literally a second. And all I've heard is like Kyler Murray looks like the chosen one.
Like an
But
MVP.
what the how did the Jets play so bad? Like the Cardinals don't even have that good of a defense. The
I
Packers,
think the
I think of
best
it, the Packers beat the shit out of the Cardinals. Like the Packers won like 34 to like 7. And this game, I'm like, how is it the exact opposite? Like the Jets can't be that bad.
they can, because they are.
I don't believe it.
I think It's we're in the zone of your record is indicative of what you are. I think a few teams are outliers in that case, but the Jets at 3-7. I think that's pretty indicative of what they are.
But what did Rodgers say?
I don't care what Rogers said.
Rodgers said, "We still have hope."
Yeah, with Devonte Adams sleeping on his couch, hilarious. I think the best play out of this whole game, I forget who it was. I think it's Quinnen Williams' brother, the linebacker. He had a sack on Kyler Murray, and Kyler Murray looked like he was decapitated, and I couldn't believe he got up after that play.
So your best play is getting hit by Quincy Williams, but still not dying.
Yeah, it was an insane hit. Did you see it?
Uh, no, I didn't see a play of that game.
Uh, well, Cardinals dominated. All right, next game, Lions 26, Texans 23. What a unanswered points in order to win this one with a game-winning field goal at the last second. I wish they had one more point on the scoreboard so that they could have covered.
This was this was like a nightmare for me on a bye week. Just wanting my NFC teams to lose.
Yeah.
And I had not watched a play. We were at out to eat at dinner, got back, turned on the game right as halftime. So bad. And even with Jared Goff throwing two more interceptions, it was terrible.
Yeah, Lions just probably played the worst that they could have possibly had played going into that half. And then you had the Dan Campbell comment or interview while he's on the sideline, like our defense needs to get a turnover, and then we got to score, and then we probably got to get another like a three and out, and then we got to score again. And while he was like saying all these things, the Lions picked off CJ Stroud.
Okay, can we also not? Those aren't real time. I'm sick of the media saying that. It wasn't. It wasn't him saying it, and then as he
Yeah,
was
it
saying it,
wasn't. There's the way that they
this
played
was
it.
in the
Yeah,
commercial break. Yeah, like
yeah.
people are. Oh my
But
God,
like the
as
way
he's
they
saying
they
it, like
way they
you think
manufactured it,
Dan
it made it
Campbell's.
sound like it was live.
Yes, yes, but like that's exactly why I'm mad. Like, yeah, he did say it, and he kind of spoke it into. But everyone's like, "Oh, as he's saying it, it happens." Like, no, all right, that was like 2 minutes before that.
Yeah, it's not like it's basketball where the play is live and the coach can do an interview on the sideline. Um, yeah, very fun game to watch. Unbelievable. John Mechie also welcome back to the NFL after tearing his ACL in college, and then I want to say he had yeah, he definitely had cancer.
Leukemia, I think.
Yeah, leukemia. Welcome back to the NFL. It was nice to see him score a touchdown. Monday
Yeah,
Night Football, Dolphins 23, Rams 15. Uh, Easiest call in the world that the Rams were going to lose this game, even though I fell into the trap. Um, Rams were -1 going into this one, playing at home against the Dolphins, and uh, the score is a lot closer than what it was. The Dolphins should have won this game by more, in my opinion, but.
why was it an easy trap? Why was it the easiest thing in the world? I thought the Rams were going to win.
I mean, because the Rams, like it, based off of like how the season has gone, the Rams and how the Rams had been playing, the Rams being 1 point favorites against the Dolphins made absolutely no sense.
I did think it was almost too good to be true. If that's what you're trying to say. But the way the the way the Dolphins played the Bills the week before, that's where I was like, oh, this is going to be a this is going to be a really good game.
Yeah, yeah, that's a good point. Um, all right, well, let's move into second down. We've got week 11 on the slate for the NFL right now. Cole's kind of giving us some like direct feed into the game. Commanders are up 7-0 on the Eagles with 3 minutes and 26 seconds left in the first quarter. Cole, what's your analysis of the game so far?
So they missed a field goal. The Eagles did. I thought they looked pretty good on the first drive, and then ever since then, the Commanders' defenses look pretty good. I think this is a huge matchup. I think the winner of this is I'm not going to say they're going to win the NFC East, but this is obviously for the NFC East, like the two teams. And I mean, if the Commanders could win this game, it would be massive.
Yeah.
Um, and then if the Eagles win, all of a sudden you're 2 games up and you're feeling really good about yourself. Uh, I think this is going to be a really down to the wire good game.
Yeah, we'll see how it plays out. Let's go to the Sunday games. First one on the docket, Packers at Bears. Packers, 5.5 point favorites. All right, Cole, your team's coming off a bye. The Bears couldn't have looked worse last week. How you feel?
It's 5.5 points now.
5.5.
It was 6.5 this morning.
Uh-oh.
Um, I'm I'm not bullish, but I'm not like, oh, we're screwed. We're
Hmm.
trapped. I do think the Bears are going to play us very tough. We're not going to just going to get like an easy win. It's in Chicago. Chicago's 4-1 at home this year.
Yep.
I don't think I mean, they're really 3-1, I think, because one of those wins was in London. But uh, I don't know. I guess we'll see. I got to know what the weather is like. We're going to be healthy.
56 degrees and cloudy.
It's time for Jordan Love to put up or shut up and and play well. So, I'm not saying he's been playing like shit, but I want him to start hitting his second half slam dunk, clutch, whatever the fuck he did last year.
Yeah, I don't disagree, and this could be the sealing fate of Matt Eberflus if this ends up being a dud for the Bears, in my opinion.
Yeah, Caleb Williams and Jordan Love will be a good rivalry.
I hope so.
Caleb Williams is a good quarterback. I think people need to like just understand that. But
Understand that he's young. The coaching staff around him might not potentially be the best coaching staff for him, and the offensive line that they put together in front of him is not doing him any favors.
yeah,
All right, next game, Jaguars at Lions. We already briefly touched upon this. Line is 14 points now, Cole. Wild.
it's because it's in Detroit, right?
Yeah, it's in
Yeah.
Detroit.
So I mean, if the greatest that would be the greatest win of all time, as if the Jags go in there and beat the Lions.
Be wild. I don't I don't know if Trevor Lawrence is playing.
I'm gonna
Um,
uh,
I'm gonna guess not. If I was the Jags, I would shut him down for the season.
what's wrong with the shoulder?
I mean, he like couldn't throw.
Yeah, I would I don't know. It's Mac
I'm not
Jones.
a, I'm not a doctor.
Mac Jones is kind of fun to watch, to be honest. So that was a fun offense, even though they couldn't consistently move the ball. I thought Mac Jones was like much
Well,
better than anticipated.
well, they've got two really good running backs. They should really lean on the two of them. Um, but the Lions defense has been solid, I guess. I don't know. All right, on to the next game. Vikings at Titans. Vikings 6 point favorites. Um, I'm like looking down this list right now, and these are not appetizing games at all.
Yeah, I thought the same thing with the slate. The there okay, hold up. There's some really good primetime matchups. Like we have one now. Um I'm
Yeah, there's a
pulling shit
good
up.
there's a good game on every prime time. Like we have Eagles Commanders going on right now for Thursday night football. 1 o'clock we got Ravens Steelers.
Yep.
4:25 we got Chiefs Bills. The Sunday night game is Bengals Chargers, and the Monday night game is a stinker.
Yeah, Monday night sucks. I also would put just be. I know it's not going to like appear to be, but I think Packers Bears is a
That's a good one.
good one. That's a good 1 p.m. game to like.
In comparison to all the other 1 p.m. games, it's probably the second best 1 p.m. game.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, Vikings Titans. Let's see if Sam Darnold can turn it back around, man. Because the last two times he's been out, it's not been pretty, and he's thrown a lot of interceptions. And he was a really good story at the beginning of the season, having like making his name known in his seventh year in the league. But now he's kind of starting to look like old Sam Darnold again, and that will be a huge problem for the Vikings going down the stretch.
Yeah, I surprised the line is not bigger for that game.
It's probably because Sam Darnold has looked like shit the last 2 weeks.
The old Sam Darnold. I'm not worried about the Vikings. I promise you that. I think the Vikings are making the playoffs, and they'll probably. I mean, if the Packers don't win the next game against the Vikings, they'll probably be a better seed than the Packers will be. And I'm not saying the Packers even make the playoffs this year. I'm just saying that
It's gonna be a tight race.
it will be.
Next game, Raiders at Dolphins. Dolphins are 7-point favorites. Wouldn't surprise me if the Dolphins win a couple games in a row here and they kind of get back into that playoff picture.
That's what I would expect. I think they have so much firepower on offense, and defensively they have star players. I don't know if they have enough to really be scary and be dangerous in the playoffs, but definitely think they can get there. And I don't even know if anything scares me about the Raiders, let alone Brock Bowers and Max Crosby.
Yeah, outside of that, it's kind of nothing.
Yeah.
I guess I'd be like on a street corner. I would be afraid of Antonio Pierce.
Yeah.
That's about it. Next game, Rams at Patriots, a rematch of the 2018 Super Bowl. Rams are 4.5 point favorites.
That's a good game.
Mm.
I I'm not saying it's a matchup it's a Hallmark movie type matchup, but that's still that's still like that game's going to be close in the fourth quarter.
I don't think so.
You think the Rams are just going to blow away with it?
I think that the Patriots have been playing well and the Rams just kind of got embarrassed on Monday Night Football. I could definitely see them
You're right.
standing up for this game and absolutely blowing the doors off the Patriots.
I think there's a chance the Rams defense takes advantage of Drake May. I could see that.
I could see
But
that very much so as well.
yeah, I just like the game plans offensively that the Patriots had the last couple weeks too.
Oh yeah, that's looked good. They've put Drake May in some really good positions in order to make him look or have him have some successes. I just think that after a loss with the Rams, I think that like Sean McVay is going to watch every single throw by Drake May this season, analyze it, study it, memorize it, and the Rams are going to be very well prepared for Drake May this week.
Yeah.
All right, next game, Browns at Saints, a 2-7 team and a 3-7 team. Saints are 1 point favorites. Take the Saints. Actually, no. Jameis Winston
Jameis
revenge
Winston
game.
returning. Jameis Winston returning to home.
Yeah, Jameis Winston revenge game.
He's throwing for 5 touchdowns in this game.
Could he be the first Browns passer for in like what 10 years to throw for 500 yards?
You remember when week one, years and years, I think like 4 years ago, Packers versus Saints in Jacksonville when I went to
Dude,
that game.
you have told me this story like a thousand
But
times.
I always forget to bring up Jameis Winston was the one that threw for I think 4 touchdown passes and like had a perfect passer rating. Just
Because
terrible.
Drew Brees was hurt.
No, Drew Brees retired. It was like his team.
That was the first year after Drew Brees'
Yeah,
retirement.
yeah,
Okay.
yep. And he was the starter. And then he didn't last, but he started out as the starter. And
I
the
don't remember how this actually go.
Packers went like 7-1. Like they lost that game by like 38 points and then they went 7 wins straight.
Yeah, the Saints didn't look good after that. I
Yeah.
do remember that.
Yeah.
All right, next game, Colts at Jets. Jets 4-point favorites at home. Anthony Richardson back at the helm for the Colts. Jets. Hey, you gotta win some of these winnable matchups if you're gonna fucking make any sort of noise getting into the playoffs. This is a winnable matchup, and you gotta have it.
It's a big game for both teams.
True. 4-6
I mean,
Colts.
this is a do or die for both. And literally a do or die for both.
Yeah, I could agree with that. I think it favors the Jets that Anthony Richardson is now playing.
I agree.
All right, fun matchup. Ravens at Steelers. These two teams don't like each other. Throw out the record books. Say all the cliches you want. Baltimore is 3-point road favorites
Something about this just tells me the Steelers win, but
by a Justin Tucker missed field goal.
I would obviously I want the Ravens to win. I'm a Ravens guy, but uh I don't know. There's something about the Steelers that just makes me think they're going to be really good this regular season and they're going
I
to
think
win.
I think it's
They're
because
going
they're
to
slept on.
I think they're going to win in the wild card round and they're going to lose in the division. That's what's going to happen to their team.
Yeah, I think they're a very slept on team right now. Like I don't think a lot of people are realizing that they're sitting at 7-2 right now.
Yeah.
Um, I feel like Lamar Jackson always struggles against the Ravens too. I mean, against the Steelers too.
Yeah. I mean the AFC North it's a toss up no matter what. Even against like the Browns. They're toss up games.
True. All right, next one, Falcons at Broncos. Denver, 2-point favorites at home. Kirk going on the road against the Denver defense. 5-5 Broncos trying to bounce back after a very, very heartbreaking loss against the division rival Chiefs. Falcons trying to bounce back after a shocking loss to the Saints.
This is a good game.
I think so too.
Yeah. I
Young
would be
Hoku missing what, 3 field goals last week in a dome. Having him have to kick in Mile High after like the straight week after, probably not the best.
that's the easiest place to kick.
It's easy for you to get distance. It's not the easiest to kick accurately.
Yeah, but I don't think it's by any means like the hardest place outside.
Well, I mean, he plays most of his games in a dome and he's outside now, and it's going to be 51 degrees and cloudy.
Okay, that's not weather conditions. That's a brisk fucking day in Denver.
I'm pulling up the AccuWeather right now.
Next week, Thursday night football, Steelers Browns in
Is
Cleveland.
that really the game for
Yeah,
Thursday?
they're showing it right now. Seven and
Oh
two versus 2-7.
God. Oh God. Oh God, no.
Yeah,
Please, no. I clicked away from the screen and I went on to AccuWeather and now it's like my computer's like kind of frozen, so I'm kind of waiting for it to load. I don't have the next matchup to for us to go over.
I'll go to it. Colts Jets. No, we already went
We
over
already
that
did
one.
that.
Um,
We just did Broncos, Falcons. Pretty sure
yeah.
the next one would be Chiefs, Bills.
Chiefs Bills or Niners 49ers Seahawks.
It's
Niners
49ers,
Seahawks.
Seahawks.
Seahawks Niners -6.5 at home. This is a huge game because not only are they fighting against each other for the division, but the Cardinals are still in first. So you fall back. I mean, I think this is a only because it's in San Francisco do I think that it's such a big spread. I would have thought this would have been like 4 points, but it's interesting. I think
Seahawks are coming off their bye too. I feel like they could get a couple of things tightened up. DK Metcalf obviously was banged up after the Falcons game didn't play in that Rams game that they gave away to the Rams right before their bye week. I don't know, man. Like I think, like I'm saying that the Chiefs are sleepwalking. I think the 49ers could potentially be a sleeping giant. Now getting Christian McCaffrey back, maybe you get a couple of weeks for him to get acclimated. He looked decent last week, didn't have a lot of rushing lanes, but Seahawks, it's put up or shut up time for them if they want to make a statement in the NFC West.
Yeah. I don't know if I don't know if this division's gonna get settled out anytime soon, but if you're gonna fall back 3 games, you probably don't want to do it against a team like the Niners. So
Yeah.
yeah,
All right,
good
next
game.
one. The big 425 game, Chiefs at Bills, potential AFC divisional or AFC championship round game. Bills are 2-point favorites at home. So I got to bet on the Chiefs.
Yeah, this is a huge game. I would expect the Bills to win this. You've got to think the Bills win, right?
With the Bills being 2-point favorites instead of it being a pick 'em, I would still pick the Chiefs.
I don't know.
I also did make a comment that I want a team to hang a 40 spot on the Chiefs, and the Bills could potentially do that.
Yeah, I just think the Chiefs defense is so good. Like that's probably a high it's probably a high over under, but we'll
No,
see.
45 and a half.
Bengals, Chargers,
Yep.
820. Chargers 1.5 point favorites.
Yeah.
That's that's obviously a massive game. Another missed field goal by Jake Elliott. Um,
He's missed two.
yeah.
Oh my God.
The basically Jalen the Eagles drove the ball all the way down to like the red zone, and then Jalen Hurts, they're doing like a triple flea flicker, and he gets sacked for like a 20-yard loss, and the whole Philly just boos the shit out of the
I
offense.
hate when teams do that shit.
But
Yeah, Bengals Chargers, this could be a knockout for the playoffs right now.
I mean, for the Bengals, Chargers are looking really good if they win this game.
Yeah, they would move to 7-3. They would definitely be in the picture.
All right, let's go to the Mike McCarthy playing for his job game on Monday night. My phone's at 3%, but I should be able to get through third, fourth down.
Okay. Cowboys, Texans. Texans are 7.5-point favorites. I think that the Texans will win by 21.
I don't think they'll win by. I actually think the Chargers could, or not the Chargers. I think the Cowboys could win this game.
No, they can't.
Okay.
Just gonna say it right now. No, no, they can't. After what I saw last week at 4 o'clock, no, no, they can't. No shot. All right, third down. Best sneakiest matchup. Sneakiest matchup is brought to you by the NFL. The NFL is where we watch all of our football games. All right, Cole, what's your best and sneakiest matchup?
Best matchup. I'm gonna go with the Chiefs and Bills, and then I'm gonna go. Or I would have gone with the game that's on right now. Um, I mean, Ravens Steelers. All three of those games are just phenomenal. Uh, Sneakiest
You
matchup. I
can't
think.
say all the games for best matchup. It's
Yeah.
your
Well
best
then,
matchup.
Chiefs Bills because that's the playoff shit. I think Falcons Broncos is sneakiest. I think that's
That's a good one. That's a good pick.
yeah.
All right, best matchup. Like I said, Cole can't steal all of them because I needed one. Ravens Steelers, AFC North football, baby. I love AFC North football. Sneakiest matchup, Bengals Chargers. I think that game is going to be a slobber knocker. Justin Herbert, Joe Burrow. Let's see it. We'll whip it out. Fucking send it. All right,
Yeah.
fourth down. Favorite and upset of the week. Last week, Cole had the Lions over the Texans. He got that one right. He moves to 5-5 on favorites this season. Last week I had the Giants over the Panthers. That did not pan out. I moved to 6-4 on the year. Who's your favorite?
My favorite is going to be the Lions over the Jaguars.
The Lions over the Jaguars. Bold
It's it's
selection.
locks, by the way. It's not favorites.
I don't care. My lock of the week this week, I'm gonna say the Dolphins. Give me the fucking Dolphins.
Okay.
Who's your and we'll move into upsets now. Last week, Cole had the Broncos over the Chiefs. Ugh, that stinks. I wish it worked out in his favor. Cole goes to 3-7 on upsets this year. I had the Bengals. Bengals did not win either. I also am 3-7 on the year. Cole, who are you looking at to upset a team this week?
Browns +1 at the Saints.
Browns. Interesting choice, my friend. Um, I'm going to take mm, the Falcons over the.
Okay.
Eh, I don't like that pick now. Never mind. All right, let's
Oh
go into
fuck, I
our.
got let me get all six of my picks really quick.
All right, do your picks.
I got Bears +5.5. I got Lions -14. I've got Vikings -6. I've got the Broncos. No, I've got the Falcons +2. I've got the Seahawks +6.5.
That's five.
And then I've got the um I've got the Rams -4.5.
Rams -4.5. All right, those are Cole's picks of the week. Cole right now, after last week, he went 3-3. He's
Fuck.
31-28 and 1 on the year. Last week I went 4-2. I am 40-20 on the year. Um, Moving into my picks, I do like some of the ones that Cole took. I think I will take. Mm, Give me the Dolphins -7. Give me the Rams -4.5. I'll take the Steelers +3. I'll take the Chiefs +2. The Bengals +1.5. And the Texans -7.5. All right, that is our pick six of the week. Hey, who's gonna win, Jake Paul or Mike Tyson?
Uh, I think Jake Paul.
Jake Paul. I think it's rigged, so I think Jake Paul's gonna win. Um, Other than that, college football's been crazy. Another good game this past week. Georgia loses to Ole Miss. Miami's upset by Georgia Tech. The college football playoff is going to be insane. Pay attention to that, guys. Going to be fun coming down the stretch here. And enjoy the rest of your week. This has been another episode of MnM Going Deep. That is Cole. I am Kyle. Have a great weekend, everybody. And as always,
Go Browns.
uh, go Pack Go. How'd you fuck that up, dude?